Now, where does the new glycogen come from when you fast? Eventually, liver glycogen begins running low. So now your body faces another challenge. It still needs glucose. So where can it get it? The answer is a process called gluconeogenesis. The name sounds complicated, but it literally means making new glucose. Instead of releasing stored sugar, your liver starts manufacturing fresh glucose. It uses several raw materials. One source is glycerol, released when body fat breakdown. Another source is lactate, produced naturally by muscles and red blood cells. And yes, some amino acids from protein can also be converted into glucose. This is why people often worry, does fasting burn muscle? The answer is yes, but not nearly as quickly as many people imagine. Is your body eating your muscles? This is probably the biggest fear people have about fasting. The truth is more interesting. Your body doesn't want to lose muscles. Muscle is valuable. It allows you to move. Evolution strongly favors preserving muscles whenever possible. During the early stage of fasting, several mechanisms help reduce muscle loss. Growth hormone increases, fat burning increases, ketone produce begins. All of these reduce your dependence on protein. Some protein breakdown does occur. That's unavoidable. Your body is constantly breaking down and rebuilding proteins, even when you're eating. But during short-time fasting, muscle loss is generally much smaller than many people assume. Most of the weight people lose during the first couple of days isn't fat, and it isn't muscle. It's something else. Why you lose weight so quickly? Have you ever noticed someone claiming they lost 5 pounds in 2 days? That sounds incredible, but most of that isn't body fat, it's water. Remember glycogen? Every gram of glycogen stored in your body holds several grams of water alongside it. As glycogen is used, the water is released. Your kidneys also begin excreting more sodium during fasting. Water follows sodium. The result? Rapid water loss. This explains why many people experience a dramatic drop on the scale during the first few days. Later, weight loss slows. That's because the easy water loss has already happened. Actual fat loss occurs much more gradually. This is an important distinction because many people mistake water loss for fat burning. They're not the same thing. Why some people feel amazing? Ask 10 people about fasting. You'll probably hear 10 different experiences. Some say they feel tired, others report feeling surprisingly energetic. Why? There are several reasons. One factor is adrenaline, also called epinephrine. During fasting, adrenaline levels can rise slightly. This helps mobilize stored energy. It also increases alertness. Again, think evolution. If your ancestor became exhausted every time food was rare, finding the next meal would become almost impossible. Instead, the body temporarily shifts towards greater mental focus. Some researchers also believe ketones themselves may contribute to improve mental clarity in certain individuals. However, this doesn't happen equally for everyone. People new to fasting often experience headaches or fatigue while their bodies adapt. Hydration, sleep, stress, activity level, and previous eating habits all influence how someone feels. What about autophagy? Now we come to one of the most talked about topics in fasting, autophagy. If you watch health videos online, you've probably heard people say things like, autophagy starts exactly at 16 hours, or autophagy peaks after 24 hours. The reality is much more nuanced. Autophagy is the process by which cells break down and recycle damaged or unnecessary components. Think of it as the cell's internal recycling and maintenance system. This process is always happening to some extent. Fasting appears to increase autophagy in many animal studies. But here's the important point. Scientists still don't know the exact timing or exact of autophagy in humans during different fasting durations. It likely depends on many factors, including age, health state, exercise, and nutrition. So while fasting, many stimulate cellular cleanup. Anyone claiming they know the exact hour it begins in every human is overstating what the evidence currently shows. Science is still catching up. Good science is honest about uncertainty. 48 hours to several days. The survival program. At this point, your body is operating very differently than it was 2 days ago. When you ate your last meal, glucose was the main source of energy. Now, fat has taken center stage. Most of your liver glycogen has been depleted. Fat cells are releasing large amounts of fatty acids into the bloodstream. Your liver is producing significantly more ketones, and your brain is beginning to rely on those ketones for meaningful protein of its energy needs. This isn't a sign that your body is failing. It's a sign that it's adapting. In fact, this metabolic flexibility is one of the reasons humans have survived for hundreds of thousands of years. Our ancestors didn't have refrigerators, grocery stores, or food delivery apps. Sometimes food was plentiful, other times it wasn't. The body evolved to handle both. Fasting doesn't activate the mysterious superpower. It activates a survival program that has always been there. Your brain learns a new fool. One of the most remarkable changes during prolonged fasting happens inside your skull. Your brain normally depends heavily on glucose, but glucose is precious. If the body had to make all of the brain's glucose from protein, you would lose muscle at an unsustainable rate. Ketones solve that problem. As ketone levels rise over several days, the brain gradually shifts to using more of them as fuel. In prolonged fasting, ketones can provide more than half and eventually up to around 2/3 of the brain's energy need, although the brain still requires some glucose. That shift dramatically reduced the need to break down protein to make glucose. In other words, ketones help protect your muscles. This adaptation is one of the reasons humans can survive much longer without food than many people realize, as long as they remain hydrated and have adequate body fat reserves. Does your body eat muscles? Let's address one of the biggest myths. You've probably heard someone say, if you don't eat every few hours, your body starts eating your muscles. That's an oversimplification. Yes, your body does break down some protein during fasting, but your body is also trying to conserve muscles. As fasting continues, fat becomes the primary fuel of many tissues. Ketones reduce the brain's glucose demand. Growth hormone raises, helping support lean tissue maintenance. Eventually, with prolonged fasting, especially once body fat becomes very low, muscle loss does become more significant because the body has fewer energy reserves to draw from. That's one reason extended fasting without medical supervision isn't appropriate for everyone. The body protects muscle when it can, but if fasting continues long enough, survival takes priority. What happens to your immune system? This is an era of active research. Some studies suggest that prolonged fasting may temporarily reduce certain circulating immune cells, followed by regeneration when feeding resumes. Researchers are investigating whether fasting may influence inflammation, immune cell function, and the recycling of damaged cellular components. However, it's important not to overstate the evidence. You've probably seen headlines claiming that fasting resets your immune system. That phrase is much stronger than what current humans research support. The immune system is incredibly complex. Fasting may influence it in an interesting way, but scientists are still working to understand exactly how, in whom, and under what condition. There is a promising research, but there are still unanswered questions. What about your gut? Your digestive system also noticed that food has stopped arriving. Your stomach produces less digestive activity because it has nothing to process. The intestine continues moving with rhythmic contraction called the migrating motor complex. often nicknamed the housekeeping wave. Think of it as your digestive tract cleaning crew. Between meals, these waves help sweep leftover food particles, mucus, and bacteria through the intestine. Some researchers believe this process may help maintain digestive health. Meanwhile, your gut microbiome, the trillion of microorganisms living in your intestine, also experience changes. Different bacteria thrive to different nutrients. Because fasting changes the availability of those nutrition, the microbiome community may shift. Exactly how these changes affect long-term health is still being studied. Electrolytes, the often ignored factor. Here's something many online videos forget to mention. When people fast, they're not only losing energy stores, they're also losing water and electrolytes. As insulin level falls, the kidneys exert more sodium. Water follows sodium. That means hydration can develop surprisingly quickly if fluid intake is inadequate. Electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium are essential for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, heart rhythm, fluid balance. This is one reason why people doing prolonged fasts sometimes experience headaches, dizziness, fatigue, muscle cramps. It's not always because they're detoxing. Often it's because they're dehydrated or have electrolyte imbalance. Is fasting good for weight loss? The honest answer is, it can be, but not because fasting is magical. Weight loss still depends largely on maintaining overall calories defect over time. For some people, fasting naturally reduces calories intake because they eat fewer meals. Others find that fasting helps control snacking or simplifies their eating routine. But fasting doesn't override the law of energy balance. It's simply one strategy among many. The best eating pattern is the one that's nutritious, sustainable, and fits your lifestyle. The biggest myth about fasting. Let's clear up a few common misconceptions. Fasting instantly shuts down your metabolism. It's not true. Short-time fasting generally does not cause your metabolism to crash. Significant reduction in metabolism rate are more closely associated with prolonged calories restriction and substantial weight loss over time. You will lose all your muscles. Some protein breakdown occurs, but during short-time fasting, your body shifts towards fat use and ketones production, which helps reduce muscle loss. Everyone should fast. Definitely false. Fasting isn't appropriate for everyone. Who should avoid fasting? Certain people should not undertake prolonged fasting unless advised and monitored by a qualified healthcare professional. This includes pregnant or breastfeeding women, children and adolescents who are still growing, people with a history of eating disorders, individuals with certain medical conditions, people taking medications that can cause low blood sugar, such as insulin or some diabetes drug, anyone who is underweight. Even healthy adults should consult a healthcare professional before attempting extended fasts, especially those lasting multiple days. How to break a fast safely. After a long fast, your digestive system isn't asleep, but it has been relatively inactive. Jumping straight into an enormous meal can lead to discomfort, nausea, bloating, or diarrhea. Instead, start with a moderate balanced meal. Eat slowly, drink water, give your body time to digest. For every prolonged fast lasting several days or more, careful refeeding is especially important because of the risk of refeeding syndrome. In some individuals, a potentially serious shift in fluids and electrolytes when nutrition is reintroduced. So, fasting is a tool, not a requirement. Some people benefit from it. If you enjoyed this journey inside the human body, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.